Kristen Canuto, and I am a senior at Simmons College in Boston, Massachusetts, where I study psychology and Spanish. This past spring, I had the pleasure of studying abroad in Salamanca, Spain through IES Abroad. My journey there was nothing short of extraordinary. I met new friends who became family, I met teachers who became some of my greatest role models, and most importantly, I found a city that became my home. My time in Salamanca consisted of attending daily classes at the IES Center, exploring La Ciudad Dorada through its many historic and quaint museums and librerias, and sharing laughs and life lessons with my host family. In just over 4 months, I learned a lot more about myself than I had ever imagined possible. The people I talked with on a day-to-day basis shared with me a part of themselves that I may have never known had I not traveled to this wonderful city. A group of people that I saw more often than some were my students. Not only did I earn the opportunity to study abroad, but I got the chance to work with students through IES Salamanca's education internship. This internship was truly unique. I worked with a professor of English as a foreign language at Colegio Sagrada Familia Siervas de San Jose, located on Gran Via in the heart of the city. For over 8 weeks, I shadowed this EFL professor and learned about the field of education in Salamanca. Some days I performed dictations with my students, and on others I reviewed student work to see how it applied to the education course I was taking back at IES. Getting to see what I was learning in my classes go into action in the classroom made this experience that much more useful to me. The time I spent engaging in conversations with students was priceless. They taught me a lot more than I could have ever taught them in those 8 weeks or so. Conversations varied from outside of class projects that they were working on, upcoming events within the school, their interest in the Spanish culture. To this day, their lessons are the reason why I continue to study in this wonderful field. The opportunity that IES Salamanca provided me with to dive deeper into the Spanish culture through an internship in a school was invaluable. It reinforced my commitment to give back to the field of education through teaching, where I can shape the lives of future students and the future itself. Those weeks I spent in the classroom as a teacher emphasized how important it is to understand that teaching is a struggle, a very, very rewarding struggle. Teaching tests you and challenges you every day and asks you the question, why, in every single moment of the day. But when you can look into the eyes of your students and find your answer each time you're asked that question, you understand why you wouldn't want to be doing anything else. Thank you to IES Salamanca and the opportunities you have brought into my life. With opportunities like these, students from all over the world can learn not only a lot more about others, but about themselves as well. And to Salamanca, thank you for being the city that will be home to me para siempre. Hasta luego.
My name is Callie Mathis, and I studied abroad in Salamanca, Spain in spring 2015. The education internship through IES is one of the reasons I chose to study in Salamanca. The education internship was definitely my favorite part about my entire experience abroad. I was in the classroom for 6 hours a week, and I had 1st through 5th graders. It was so much fun to teach them about American culture because mostly what they study there is British culture and British English, so I got to incorporate some things that they didn't know into their curriculum. I got to teach them about food and activities they do on the weekend, but my favorite thing to teach was phonology.
The polar bear, what does it eat? Seals. The polar bear eats seals, but the polar bears eat seals.
The best part about my internship was that I could apply things I had previously learned into real-life situations. One of my favorite days in my internship was when I was teaching to my 2nd graders, and I asked them what they did on the weekends. And I got to talk with them the entire time about what they like to do on the weekends. And they do the exact same things that we do, like watch movies, go to their grandparents' house. They like to skateboard and go to the park. Not only was the education internship an amazing experience, but I have so many memories that I will always have. On my last day of my internship, my professor gave me a keychain and she told me I could put it on my keys so that I could always return to Spain and I would always know that I would have a home there. The time I spent every week with my elementary schoolers is definitely the best part about my entire experience abroad. Thanks, IES.
Is there any expression that is still kind of
My name is Ben Gaynor, and I attended IES Abroad Salamanca during the spring 2015 semester. Without a doubt, one of the most invaluable parts of my time abroad was my internship at Colegio Antonio Machado. I had the privilege to work with students between the ages of 11 and 19 on a wide variety of topics in English. One of my favorite tasks was presenting a lesson on idiomatic expressions. I taught them phrases like once in a blue moon, back to the drawing board, the straw that broke the camel's back, and to...
Hold on later.
In addition to sharing a little bit about American culture, such as our testing systems, our eating schedule, and our expected behavior in the classroom, I was also allowed to correct their short written assignments. By doing this, I learned a lot about what Spanish speakers studying English struggle with. I'm pretty comfortable telling you the common mistakes made by English speakers learning Spanish, but I feel like now I can tell you the reverse too. For example, on a number of papers I corrected the use of the possessive determiners his, her, your, and their. I had never thought about this before, but because these four words are all the same in Spanish, su, it was difficult for the students to discern the differences in meaning. When I told my teacher about this, I learned something else about the Spanish education system. The teacher often isn't concerned with students doing well. She told me that yes, she had seen this error too, but they had studied this concept in an earlier grade and wouldn't be covering it again. There wasn't enough review of old material. In performing dictation exercises, which themselves are artificial and lacking in purpose, I also discovered that their textbook was often erroneous. This was hard to determine at times, since the book was in British English, but other times I could clearly spot constructions that appeared to have been directly translated from Spanish. While I had a number of complaints about the English learning system at my school, I definitely learned a lot. Working in classrooms not only reaffirmed my wanting to teach Spanish in the US and make sure my students never fall behind, but also made me start to think about teaching English as a foreign or second language. I will forever be grateful for this unforgettable opportunity.